Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Now we have a 2006 Toyota Hilux. I'm just trying to block out the sun, and we have a crank no start. Now the customer's told me he's basically put the jump leads on wrong, which has caused, well, as soon as he did that he saw a spark and nothing really worked after that. But before that, he was driving and it broke down, it wouldn't start. So there's a few issues. One is going to be hopefully kind of a simple fuse. The others, well, we don't know. So you can see the ignition lights come on. You can see that there, but nothing happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly open the fuse box, because I know he's crossed the jump leads, which is very important because it can save me a long time looking, and see what's going on. But when you have a problem like this, it's always good to check fuses. When you have any problems really, always good to check fuses first. Don't just put fuses back in, because if they keep blowing, they're blowing for a reason, but always check your fuses first. Okay, so here's the main fuse. You can see there's a cover here. We've just taken the cover off, and these fuses obviously control a lot of stuff. But as you can see, the way they're designed, if one fuse blows, the others don't work, which is a bit of a stupid design. So what I mean is, if this first one blows here, these other ones aren't powered, or if it blows from, say, this here, these ones aren't powered. Now I don't know if you can see that, but just in here, hopefully the camera's going to focus, there we go, this one has blown here, the first one. So all these fuses aren't powered. He said the wipers or nothing's working. Now this is a special fuse box holder slash fuse thing. Oh, there we go, we're getting a few sparks. So we're gonna have to order one of these from Toyota. But what I will do is I'm just gonna kind of jump that with some crocodile clips and a fuse in place, just to see if we've got any more issues. But that's going to have to be ordered directly from Toyota, and it's most probably going to be quite expensive for what it is. So I've just jumped that. Be careful if you do that. Make sure you don't use too thick of a wire or too much of a fuse. The only reason I'm doing it is because I know he blew it. It didn't blow itself, so I know we've got no wiring issue. If it blew itself, don't do that. So turn on the ignition. Oh, the ignition is on. Nothing still. Oh, the wipers went up a little bit. I wonder if the battery's now flat. Let me just get my jump pack. Now, I've got my jump pack on. The wipers are now working. I can see them, so they were obviously turned on. This is the Genius Booster Pro 150, and I've seen them come out with a 500. I want to get my hands on the 500. It looks awesome. But this one, I have to say, I've been using this now, I don't know, over a year and a half, and it's been fantastic for me. Right, so I want to see, does this start, and what other issues do we have? There we go. Now that oil light has always been on. It'll come back on, the oil pressure, because the oil pressure switch is dodgy. Right, I'm just going to check the charging system and make sure that's all okay, because there's definitely another issue with this. According to this, it is charging, and this is fairly accurate, but there is two batteries in this, so we're going to have to test the batteries individually to make sure they're okay. What I've done is I've disconnected this battery because it was kind of getting warm. I didn't like it. You can see it's leaking over there, and the engine, and I obviously had to disconnect it to test it anyway, because I can't test the batteries in this, because if one's weak or another, the other will load it up and it just won't test properly. This might not come through on camera, but when I touch it, the engine changes. Yeah, it's not really coming through, but believe me, there's something. This battery is shorted inside, or is shorting. It's not great. It was also heating up the fuse. So we're going to test the other battery. I'll do that on camera. And yeah, so we know we need a fuse, we know we need this battery, possibly the other battery, and then we'll have to check the charging system properly. So I'm going to test the battery. I've got my Megatronics here, 800. Now I know that these aren't cheap, but they are good. You do have to be careful. Doing a static battery charge, so just a normal battery test, doesn't really load up the battery. I've never had an issue with them, but I know some people that kind of have, when you do a full system check like we are going to do, that kind of loads up the battery, uses the battery as a load. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to test the alternator and all that good stuff. So what I'm going to do is just press OK. We're going to do a system test. You can see the battery isn't fully charged already. We do have, it's 01. Doing this through the phone is annoying. 18. Top post, regular flooded. It is, say it's 600. Need to get the temperature of the battery, just let me quickly do that. There's a temperature sensor at the bottom, so we just do that, press OK. Temperature sensor built into that. That is important. Temperature is important. So it's going to ask me to, well, already it's only measured 493. We know it is low, so we'll start the engine. Took just over 1 second to start, dropped to 9.4, which is on its limit. Just need to rev it. Tell us what to do. So we'll turn everything on. High beams, heater. Let this print and see what it says. Right, so now we can read it. It's saying the battery is good but low on charge. It's really pushing it for the voltage drop, but again that's because the battery is low on charge, and gives us the load and non-loaded. Gives us the alternator ripple and actual pattern. That's what I really like about it. It gives us the little alternator ripple. And there we go. So there we go. I'm going to order a fuse. It should be in tomorrow. 60 quid for that fuse, for that main fuse. And once one blows, they all blow essentially, because once, depending where it blows, they don't work after that. And you have to buy the whole fuse. So I'm just going to keep monitoring this to make sure nothing heats up or anything like that, because yeah. And I'm just going to show you something now as well. We will just look at the inrush. So I'm just going to quickly connect this to this battery, which you know is really bad. And we'll just have a quick look at the inrush of amps going into it. Look at that. 48 amps of an inrush. That's a lot. That is a hell of a lot. That's dangerous. That battery has been heating up, it's been leaking, it's been causing all types of problems. Wow. Okay, it's the next day. Here's the fuse. Here's for the part number for people on playing at home. That's the main dealer's part number. This is the new fuse. As you can see, it's quite complicated. Few clips on it, a bit awkward to get out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 clips on it, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts on it, and 2 clips. The way I found got it out is to remove this first. There's 2 clips either end of this. Remove the mini fuse, and also unbolt it there. That powers the mini fuses. So anything, the problem with this is because this fuse has gone down here, this powers all the mini fuses too, and of course all these wasn't working because of the power. That's why I don't like this setup. One of these fuse blows basically takes out half the car, if not all the car, and then it just pulls off. You can see the 3 10mm bolts there, and there's going to be a couple more on the other side. So once I get the new one in, yeah, also you need to take off the front. It just unclips the front of the fuse housing here, and it allows you to take off that. So we're going to bang the new one on, and we're going to see what happens. We've got 2 new batteries. This battery was shot, the other battery was okay, but especially with this system, I've got 2 of the identical, same battery, same make, same amp hour, same everything. It's better because then, you know, one battery is not pulling the other one down, or you get 1 new battery and 1 old battery, and it's kind of leveling it out, and it's just going to destroy the battery. So you're best off getting 2 new batteries, the same make, the same amp hour, and you know, you're going to have less issues that way. That's the way the customer's gone. And we've got a few connections to clean up, so all our earth connections, we're going to clean everything up. Once I've done all that, we'll see if we have any other issues. Now we've got the new one in, we just need to put this fella back and the last bolt on it, but what I want to do on camera is just... how satisfying is that? Now, when you're messing with main fuses and stuff like this, obviously make sure your battery is disconnected. As you can see, this battery is still connected, but it's only connected to the earth. It's not actually connected to the system, because you know, you can easily cross things and blow up things and do all sorts. Now another thing, don't just put a main fuse in without doing your checks. I knew this one blew up because he crossed the jump leads. He told me that, and he said he saw a big spark come out of here. So I know that was the issue. You know, you want to check, do your voltage drop test, make sure that you know, you've got none of your power wires touching the earth or anything like that, because you're just going to blow that up. That isn't a cheap fuse by any stretch of the imagination, so you want to do all your checks before you just put that in. We know we're okay. I'm going to clean all my wires, but I've checked all the connections anyway, even though I knew it was okay, because I've cleaned them all, cleaned them off the starter, checked absolutely everything before I've done this. Even though I know, but I still did it. And it's always good to clean your connections anyway. It's not nice having dirty tips now, is it? And yeah, so what I'm going to do now is put that back, put the 2 new batteries in, and test the charging system again, check everything, and we'll go from there. We've got 1 battery connected. I just want to see how easy it starts. Nice and easy. Now let's do the same thing as we did before with the inrush, just to see what this battery is like. Right, so our clamp's on again. Let's just quickly do this, and we had 23. Now it was originally 48, so that's how much that battery was drawing, the old battery. That's why it was heating up. It wasn't drawing that all the time, that's just an inrush current. But yeah, you can see this is a hell of a lot less of a draw, which is good. So a lot less stress on the system, a lot less heat, a lot less of everything essentially, and it's just going to be a lot better for the system. You could see the battery was leaking, it was getting warm, it was just causing problems. So there we go, we're all back together, and yes, technically we only need 1 battery, But it's like everything, it's like tyres, brakes, you always want to make sure everything is even. So you either put 2 or 4 tyres on. It's always best to put 4, but I understand that's not practical in certain circumstances and money wise. But things like brakes, you always put both sides of the brakes on. Just like these batteries, they're the same make, they're the same everything. We know that, you know, they're both as new as each other, so you know it's just going to be better for the system. What I'm going to do now is I'll quickly check, just see how easy it starts with 2 batteries. I'm not really expecting that much difference, to be honest. I'm just going to monitor everything. I'm going to keep the fuse cover off, just monitor, make sure this isn't getting warm, make sure the connections are cleaned, are tight, and everything is fine, and then we can give it back to the customer. So, see if there's any difference. I'm not expecting any difference. No, didn't think so. Right, so there we go. Now, in some ways, it's most probably good that the customer crossed this to blow up that fuse. And the reason why I say it is because that battery was drawing way too many amps. It was heating up. It was going to possibly blow up, possibly cause a fire issue. You just wouldn't know. It could cause serious problems. So in some kind of ways, even though that fuse is expensive, it's maybe just as well the customer did this, because this is not due to come back to me for at least another 6-7 months for servicing and stuff like that. So I wouldn't have seen it. I wouldn't have known anything was going off. This battery would have still have been taken over. So that battery was just basically boiling, and the customer might not have known anything. So in some ways, think of it this way: he was very lucky that he actually blew that fuse up, because it could have caused, well, it could have set fire, we could have done all sorts. You just don't know. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a separate video on the Pico versus the Mintronics battery tester, just to see. I've never had an issue with the other battery tester, but I've got the Pico now, so we'll just do a comparison. And yeah, so that's it. 2 new batteries, new fuse, new everything. I'm going to monitor everything, and it's just best thinking, well, not thinking what could have happened, let's put it. Right, I know I maybe should have left the second battery on as I was doing the test, but the reason why I didn't, because it was heating up and drawing massive current, I just didn't feel safe, because my face was quite close to it and I was working close. I didn't want it to blow up. That's why I disconnected it as soon as I saw, and that's what caused the initial problem of it basically not starting, because it was just drawing all the power from the second battery, and it was causing the second battery to basically not have enough power to start it and not have enough power to keep everything running. It was really dangerous. That's why I took it out of the circuit. That's why I didn't test it in it, because it was just too dangerous, and that's why the initial problem of it cutting out and causing all sorts of problems. It's been going over a week now, or 2 weeks. No issues with it, no nothing, so it's sorted. So look, thanks for watching, hope it helped. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most importantly, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted. There's a screw up there. It is what it is.